Karibu sana Kinyash. You'll give me a minute to share the live link so that you can also share on your end.
Yes.
Karibu sana, karibu sana. We've been waiting for you.
Thank you so much. I'm here. Oh, so
Please, you'll give me a minute so that I may share that link.
No
Then we
problem.
can proceed. Yes.
Okay.
Willie is trying to join. So as we allow him, let me just get that link.
I think I've picked mine, eh?
You have pictures?
Mm.
I'm wondering, come again?
Let me send it to you.
Kindly, I don't know why I'm not seeing from my end. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, I can see.
I've sent you.
Okay.
You give me a go ahead, I can.
Yeah.
post.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Karibu sana Willy, we've been waiting for you.
asante sana. I'm so sorry.
Tumekusamehea, ni sawa tu.
Yes, nilikuwa safari.
Okay.
Nimekimbia kukimbia ndio nifike hapa.
You're right on time. Tulichelewa kidogo because of
so much.
something we are trying to fix. So it favored you. It favored you.
Thank you.
Yes. It favored you. Yeah, so in a minute so that we may start, I want to share with you on your WhatsApp, Willy, so that you can share on your platform, like the live link. I'm sharing with you the live link now because we are on.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you shared?
I'm doing it right in a minute.
Okay.
Mitandao sometimes inaweza fail, but yes, I've shared with you
okay,
on
we understand.
You can check now.
Let me check.
Mitandao sometimes inaweza fail, but we understand.
Got it.
You get it, yeah?
Yes.
And thank you so much, Liz, for saving us.
It's okay.
Thank you so much. Okay. Just in a minute, I put also on my page so that now it will be live also that other side. And we are good now. Thank you so much for the patience.
Okay.
So karibuni sana Liz and Willis for on this platform. I know it's your first time, but we will have an awesome time just trying to engage in this topic. Yeah, so this to welcome you on this platform, and thank you so much for agreeing to be part of this. And I know that we shall have a very, very awesome time. So
Yes.
allow me to welcome our viewers who are following us, and I know people will continue streaming in. So as we continue, we'll just proceed to welcome them. So it's a pleasure to host everyone. Our viewers, karibuni sana on this platform. As always, my pleasure to host you once again on SADC Africa platform. And this is a place where we believe that broken crayons still color, so it doesn't matter what you have gone through. Even in your brokenness, we believe that you can always bounce back and still live a purposeful life. So this segment of this program, we call it Brighter Days segment, and it's a monthly talk show that we bring it each and every last Friday of the month. And this is where we bring in different relevant topics based on raw, real, and authentic stories, and also expertise just to help us create awareness and also give hope and transform life in the process. And that is our objective at the end of it. So for those people who are joining, just remember that we are live on SADC Africa Facebook page, so you can feel free to share that link. You can also host watch parties for your friends and other people who you know can benefit from this topic of discussion today. And also feel free to share on your timeline and also invite someone, you know. And this will be also be available on YouTube later for those who will not catch up with this conversation. So we welcome you a lot, and maybe for the people who are joining for the first time to learn more about SADC Africa, we have programs and services that we offer, so you can kindly check on our website. That's www.sadref.com, and also you can like our Facebook page, SADC Africa, and also Jenny Wachira Facebook page, where you'll get updates of what we do on a daily basis, just to keep you updated. And also YouTube channel, SADC Africa, where we update the programs and the interviews that we carry. Yes, so I also wish to invite everybody else to be part of this conversation, even as our guests try to help us dissect this topic of discussion. Also our viewers, I believe you are part of this, so kindly engage by in this conversation, but by going to our chat box, you know, put your question. If you have any comment, if you have any thoughts, any concerns, or even experience, you just share it for all of us to learn from that together, you know. Yeah, so getting straight, maybe but to highlight on the topic of the discussion today, I will start with a quote, and that is from some people. They call themselves marriage boosters, and what it says that meddling in law who is demanding, controlling, and intrudes into the lives of your marriage is what the Bible calls busybody. And I can see it's even found in the Bible, 1 Timothy 5:13. I think you can write that to confirm later. Don't give way for your own family to impose on your marriage or relationship. I found that to be very, very key, and that's why I had to quote it at the beginning. So my name is Jenny Wachira, and I will be your host today. And today we are on episode 8 of this year, that's season 2. And the topic of discussion is about in-laws, you know. I know that's it's a word that gives many of us chills. So in-laws in relationships or marriages, and basically just getting to know the impact and the influence that they have, on our marriages or relationships. So to help us dissect that topic, I'm privileged to host a very super amazing panelists who will help us to be able to unpack this topic. And our guests tonight, Liz Wimbia, who is a life coach, and also Willie Kinyash, who is a relationship coach and also a mentor. And is one person I know he's very passionate also about marriages. So he will tell us more when I give him an opportunity to introduce himself. So I will invite you now, just get to introduce yourself so that our viewers, our audience can get to know you better before we get to our topic of discussion. So I will start with Liz. Let me say ladies first. So what Liz answer?
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very happy and excited. It's been postponing too many times, but we are here today. Jenny, thank you so much. And I'm glad. My name is Liz Wimbia, and I'm a life coach. And my company is Life Connect, and you can find me on lifeconnect.co.ke. And what I focus mainly is that I believe that every human needs to be whole so that they can be able to have better relationships. And how you become whole every day is that you learn something every day, because when you know better, you're able to do better. And so at this particular moment, I think that is what we are doing. We are learning. Thank you. Back to you, Jenny.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Liz, for that intro, and even to know you're really impactful in this session, because it's about making us better, making the viewers better. So thank you so much, Liz, for agreeing to be part of this. Yeah, Willie, now you see how it feels being on the other side. I know I've been on your bench.
Yes.
Today now you're on the other side. Karibu sana.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm glad to be here. And I'm ready also to learn, because we are all teaching one another. And so I'm glad that I'm here to learn. And it's good to see Liz here as well. And so my name is Willie Kinyash. And some people, they call me Dr. Love, and others, the Undisputed. And I'm an author. I've authored a book by name Couples Wheel that mostly talks about how we can make our marriages work, and also a book that is helping people who want to graduate from singlehood and now to enter into the institution of marriage. And I'm one campaigner who is campaigning every day that marriages work. I know there are challenges here and there, but I know as you put God first and we ask God for his grace, we are able to make it and continue. And for those maybe who could be feeling like kuna vile, we don't condemn, but we tell people that Mungu mbele. And so I'm also a host of a show by the name Couples Wheel that runs every Friday from 9:45. Actually, after this, I'm doing the Couples Wheel show. It comes every Friday at 9:45. And maybe you can go to YouTube channel and you can check out Willie Kinyash, Dr. Love, and you'll be able to see what we are doing there.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much, Willie, for that intro. And I'm a witness that you do an amazing job. You know, you've been just encouraging that also marriage works, and getting to that part of just embracing, you know, life as it comes. So I really applaud you and just acknowledge that you do a good job, and may you continue encouraging people, because that's what we need. And we are all here, as Liz was saying, just to make our lives better. Each and every person who is here, a viewer, the audience we have, just getting one lesson or two that you can carry to your life that may help you as you proceed with this life. Yes, so karibuni sana, and even for our viewers and audience, as you continue joining, just know our topic of discussion is about in-laws in relationships and in marriages, and how they have, what kind of impact and influences they have in our relationships. So kindly come in and be free just to go in the chat box and be able to put your concerns or your questions as we continue. And our guest tonight is Liz Umbia, a life coach, and also Willie Kinyash, who is a relationship coach. Yeah, so to start us off, sometimes I know the word in-law, it just puts chills to some of the people once they hear that, because maybe of the experience and trauma they have gone through through such kind of, the people who carry the name in-laws. So maybe in simple terms, I'll start with Willie. Briefly, you can help us understand who are in-laws and why in-law. When you hear in-law, you think of, when you hear the word law, you just think of something legal. So who are the in-laws and why, in-law?
Thank you so much, Jenny. And I want to start by saying, for me, I don't call them in-laws, because as you're saying that we hear the word in-laws and we start shaking because of the kind of stories that we have had in past. And so I love calling them in-laws because this is one person who is coming to join another family, and that is why now they are being this family he or she is joining is called in-laws. But you have come here because of, number one, love. And I need to say this, that these are parents. And just like the way this person A, let me say, this man has parents, the woman have parents, all these people, they need their honor and they need the respect. And so these are people who are coming into our lives because of love, because I have loved this person, and now immediately we become one. They are his people, our people, they become my people, and these are now the people that we are calling in-laws. And let me say, we need to give honor where it is due. And so as we talk about in-laws, remember, we are talking about parents, and they're also siblings. And so brothers are coming in as in-laws. The sisters are coming in as in-laws. The parents are coming in as in-laws. But we need now to come to a place and strike a balance and know that these people, from wherever they are coming from, they need their honor and they need their respect, because when we have this understanding from the word go, then we'll be able to create what I would call boundary, and some of the issues that we have seen with people will be able to overcome them.
Wow, yes. Wow. I think that's deep. And maybe I would want to hear your view, Liz. Is it that according to Willie, are we evading the reality by calling them in love? You don't want to refer them to actually who they are. Yeah, maybe we can hear your views.
Yes, I've heard the name in love, which is a good name, because there's the connotation of law. But I think when two people come together, it's legal that they become husband and wife. And therefore, they become in-laws because of that legality of the whole process. I don't know why they got that name. Because it always feels like you're getting into law. Nobody likes rules and law. It feels like I need to get out of this space of being confined. But I think when we think of in-laws or in-love, it means it's people who come into our lives. And the most interesting thing is that you're an in-law, I'm an in-law. We all somehow will be in-laws at one time or another. And when you look at the Bible, it's very clear that in Genesis, it says that the man said, "This is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. They are very different people who come together, and these different people have a whole community behind them. And you see, that whole community will not become one with you. You're only becoming one with your spouse. So it was always a delicate relationship, which, as Willie has said, requires boundaries, requires a lot of understanding. But above all, I believe the person themselves, they need to also mature enough to know that now I am a man, I am a husband, I am a woman, I am a wife. Now I'm not just a daughter. I'm not just a son. Now I have another title. Yeah, back to you, Jenny.
Wow, that's very, very deep. And I think what you have said in connection even to what Willie has said, that takes us deep, just getting to understand actually who are in-laws. And even as Willie said, you know, they are parents. And so this leads me to the next maybe question that I would ask, because we know sometimes we get to misunderstand or misguided what is the role of the in-laws in a marriage, in a relationship. We know others come in different ways. You know, others come carrying a lot of power and authority. So what can you say are the roles, you know, of the in-laws in a marriage setup or in a relationship, just people who are now planning maybe to settle together?
You know, one thing is that when you meet somebody, you don't know their culture. They are different from you because they've grown up differently. They had different parents from you. They had different relatives from you. So they will come with their own understanding of life. The same thing, even you will go to him. Okay, now for me, I'll go to him with my own understanding of life. And both of us were supposed to do life together. Now, the first thing I said earlier is that now when you get married, is that you're now no longer, I am no longer a daughter only, I am also a wife. So it means that who is my number one? Who am I responsible to? Who takes authority over my life? That person is my spouse, is my husband, not my father or mother. They become number two. And that is the one thing I think many of us are not able to differentiate, because there's no way that you will get married and still your father and mother are the ones that have the authority over your life. Now, me being a woman, my husband will be my authority. And it is very critical for every one of us to understand that. Because once you understand that, then you're able to. Then on the guy, the husband, he needs to realize that authority also is no longer his mother and father. It is a very dicey issue that your mother and father should not come and have authority over your home. As the man, now you have the authority over your home. Now you are a grown person. And your mother and father become number two. Your family now becomes number one. It's a very difficult thing, especially for mothers, because huyu ni mtoto wangu. Siwezi kumtupa. So you feel that you need to have authority. You need to tell them what to do. You need to be like guiding every step. But no, your work ended the moment he left kindergarten. The child keeps growing, milestones keeps growing. And when you let the child go, that child doesn't live as a child, they live as an adult. They go as an adult. So therefore, you allow them to be adults and do not poke as a parent in their lives, because already you have brought them up in the right way. So now let them be. Yes.
And what I'm hearing Liz say that I would want also Willie to react. Can I say that the men or the husbands have failed the women by not offering that protection? Or rather, where do you draw the line? Because you can see there's a very thin line between between boundary and obedience. As you said, these are our parents that we need to obey, you know, but now, as Liz was saying, now there's the issue of authority. You as a man, you feel like you have a parent to obey. Me as a woman, I feel the same. So where do you draw the line here? Have the men failed in this area by offering protection to their women?
Thank you so much, Jenny. And I won't say, I won't only talk to men, but also to ladies, because it's two-way. And so I want to start by saying, and I am sending this message to all in-laws. All in-laws must mind their own businesses. Because when these two people have come together, number one, these are mature people. According to the Constitution of Kenya, you are allowed to get married by the time you are at age of 18 years. That is according to the law of Kenya. And that is to say, when someone gets married, it means that they are mature. And so all in-laws must mind their own businesses, and they should leave alone this couple. And when I say that they should leave alone this couple, I don't mean that they should not bring in some advices. The advice is welcome, but anytime you're coming in to plant some seeds that are full of negativity, that seed is not welcome. It is unwelcome. Any parental interferences, it is not welcome in marriage. And back to your question, we need to stick up to our spouses. You need to defend, and you must defend your spouse. Your spouse married the family, but he or she was not married to this family. And so it is up to you as a man or a woman to defend your spouse. And this is something I always tell people. Your spouse must always remain an angel in front of the in-laws. They should never see any negative side of her. Always represent your spouse as an angel to the in-laws, because this is where we go wrong. When my mother calls me and I start giving bad stories about my wife, I am the one who is giving my parents, I'm giving them permission now to come and be against my wife, because number one, they can see that we are not one. Remember, the word of God says that two shall become one. And so I'm no longer willing. When I am speaking, when you go to that family meetings, when I start speaking, I am not just speaking as Willie, but I'm also speaking on my behalf, on behalf of my wife. When my wife goes for that family meeting, she is not just speaking as herself only, but she is also representing me, because we are one. And so we must defend our spouses. And this is a challenge. I want to challenge all people who are married out there. Do you defend your spouse? Because if you don't defend your spouse, then what makes you think that your parents or the in-laws cannot come and start raising negative issues against your wife? Because they have seen that you don't defend her, you don't defend him. And so we must make clear lies and say that even if my wife, there is something wrong she has done to me, I should not come before my people and start crucifying her. I know this is wrong, but I need to present her before my people as a good person. But now maybe after we are done, or we are away from my people, or we are away from her people, I can go and correct her and tell her this is wrong. Because the moment I start showing my people that, enyewe hapa amekosea sana, hiyo haifai, they will start feeling like we are not one. And so every spouse must, and I am using the word must, defend his or her spouse. The moment you do that, we are creating boundaries that these people will be able to know, by the way, this person, there is a place at Wezi Peter, because I have put some demarcations through the way I defend this person. But if I'm not the kind of person who is defending my person, then everyone atakuja na vitu zake. Yes, so let's defend
our spouses, and let us remember, whoever attacks your spouse attacks you directly, because we are one. And so whoever hates your spouse also hates you, because you cannot tell me that, Jenny, you love me, but you don't love my wife. We are one. So there's no you can love me and then you hate my wife. If you hate my wife, you also hate me, because we are one. And I think we need to draw boundaries up to that point.
Wow, I can see how you've defended that passionately, you know.
Kabisa, kabisa.
That one has come from heart, you know. You.
I want to add something that you said about obedience. You know, the Bible is very clear. It says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Then there is another part, honor your father and mother. Now, when I was a child, I did things like a child. We need to realize that once we are adults and we have gotten married, not only gotten married, but we are adults, we are living on our own, we are taking care of our own business. Now, the obedient part changes to honor, because it is not everything your mom or your dad will tell you that is what you need to do. But you will need to honor them by listening. As Willie said, listen, opinions are good, but always remember, they are not the ones that have the authority over whatever it is that they have said. You don't have to do what they have said. It is good, it's important to listen, because they have lived longer, they know, they see far. But at the same time, you need to go back to your wife or your husband and discuss it and say, this is the opinion they have. This is what, then from there, you're able now to discuss better. So when now you're an adult, you need to honor. And obedient is when you're under their roof, and obedient is not the same as honoring, because obedient, it means I say this, you follow, and that is what children should do. But when you're an adult, it's not everything your mom or your dad will tell you you will follow, because you also have your own mind of your own. So that is very important. So it is now honoring.
And thank you for bringing that out.
And maybe even before Jenny.
Yes.
I was saying before you come in,
okay.
I love the scripture, Liz, I have just read. And you know, sometimes we read, this is Ephesians chapter 6, and we read verse 1 and 2 and 3, but we forget to read verse 4. Verse 4 says, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger by the way you treat them. Rather, bring them up with the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord.
Yes.
And so even as you talk about this honor, that children should honor their parents, again, verse 4 is speaking to the parents, and it is saying, you should not provoke your children. And so when you come and you start planting evil seeds in my family, you are provoking me. And so let us not stop at that point of honoring our parents, but also because I have seen some parents who provoke their children, which is wrong. The word of God is saying that we should not provoke our children. Yes.
That's very interesting, very interesting. And also another thing, I think she looks like she's a bit off. What I think also is that when you talk about this parent, 90% of the time, the parent wants the best for you. At most of the time, they want the real best for you because they love you and they really care, but they cannot live your life. They will need to allow you to live your life. But the moment they come and now live your life, it means they failed. They did not train you well. And that's where we find things called family dynamics. How is the family dynamic from where you're coming from? Are you so close that even when you're buying a table, you will call your mother and tell her that I've bought a table, or I've changed my curtains? You know that you will go even with your mother to shop. That is not the way it should be. You should be an individual on your own, because when you're an individual on your own, it means that when you need counsel from them, you will go listen And when you listen, it is an opinion. You go discuss it with your spouse and see, is it the best? But if your parent controls so many dimensions of your life, they are controlling what curtains you buy, where you buy land, where you build your house, then for sure they will control your marriage. And therefore you have delegated your authority to the spouse, to your parents and to your in-laws. So, and when you do that, if it's a wife, she will feel very bad. And there are scenarios that we can talk about where the man marries a woman, a girl who comes from a very rich family, where they have so many resources. That is a very dicey situation because kijana amegrow, hana hizo mapesa zote. So what will he do? Because this woman, you know, is used to a certain lifestyle and all that. So the issue becomes a bit dicey because will they go now start getting money from the in-laws? You know, it becomes very tough when the guy is the one who is not as wealthy in the family as the girl. I don't know, how would you handle that, really?
I think this is where now we are saying that we need to draw lines. And there's something I always say, that marriage is not for kids. It's for grown-ups. And by yes, it is not for kids. And so by the time I'm saying that I am ready to get married, there are some questions I need to ask myself. Like, am I able to feed this another human being who is coming into my life? After we get married, after some time, we get kids. Will I be able to take them to school? Will I be able to perform my duties and responsibilities that are godly given as a man? Because this now we need to go back to man, because from there we know the man is the head of the family. And as you have put it, ukijana sasa ati anaenda kuchukua pesa kwa wazazi wa msichana. No, lazima at first ukuwe umejipanga that I am able to feed this human being. I am able to feed other human beings that will come in course of this journey of marriage. And I am able to stand as a man and be responsible enough. And at this point, I think it is important even to mention marriage is complete even without children. I know some of us will say, what are you trying to say? But marriage is complete without children. And it doesn't mean that the moment you get married, you need to start getting children immediately. No, you can take time and maybe you can do some plannings. You know, by this time, we are planning to do this ABCD so that will also not become burdens to our parents, that now we have children, but you're not able to raise them. And so we need to go back to the children, to the parents, and start asking for some help. No, ni lazima sisi tukue tunajipanga. And so I think it is important to set up these rules even before we get married. And I wish a young person who is listening to us can take this seriously, that before I commit myself into this institution, that I am ready to commit fully, and I am ready to be responsible as a man. Yes.
True. I agree. Something else that was crossing my mind is that the fact is that there are some people who we will meet in this world that are not good. That is the truth. They have very negative characters. And we meet them at workplaces, we meet them even in our friends, we meet them everywhere. Now, the one thing we need to realize, those bad people can happen to be your in-laws. Or you can happen to be the bad one anyway. And what the important thing for us to realize is this: how is me in my character? Who am I? What relationship do I have with myself? Because we cannot always be pointing fingers at the other person, because the truth is that there are some mean people. And I'm sure our listeners, probably there's somebody who has had a very terrible in-law experience that the whole marriage issue just collapsed for her because of that. So for me, I think it's that we need to realize that what is my character? and I will find negative people around. Therefore, what are my expectations? Are my expectations so high, so low? And I think the best thing to do is to have no expectation and to realize that maybe I'll meet, maybe even my own mother is not very nice. And I know that she can be very mean. We know our parents, she can be very mean. So what do? I need to protect my spouse. I need to help him understand, by the way, when you see my mother or my dad behaving this way, just know this is what they want. And then you're able to understand. And then that is where now it comes in now. Who am I as a character? If I know that I am a child of God, I love God, will I behave Christ-like? Will I cultivate good character so that even though the negative comes, am I able to catch it with cold water? Because the moment you also bring in the negative, then it becomes a problem, because most of us, we have grown up differently. And then also cultures are different. Maybe I get married in Ukambani, for example. And then my parents start saying, na utarogwa. And I mean, clearly, who said that it will happen? Where is it written? So now that means is that I will need to sit down with my mother and tell her, wait, you need belief system uko nayo, can you sort it? Because now that is where now I need to sit down with my parents and let them understand. The other thing is that even your own spouse can be a terrible character. Because we are always wearing masks before we get married, because we don't marry the people we date. When we marry them, they change. What is a mask? So what do you do when you also get married to a very bad character? Anyway, you have home. That home is gonna be best, because you will run home to talk to your parents. So the thing is when you see that character of your spouse is becoming something, try reach out to him, talk to him. If he's not listening, look for marriage therapy, look for marriage seminars, because those things will help him understand, because he's probably a terrible character, because probably he's a mommy's child, both ways, a girl or a boy, and he's not able to differentiate between himself and that he's now a husband.
Wow. Thank you so much for carrying on the conversation. I think I told you about the easy internet things. The Wi-Fi failed and the bundles was hard even to purchase. So sorry for that, but thank you that you continued with the conversation. And maybe before we get back, I would like to read some few comments from the people. And I would really want to appreciate Councillor Naomi Ngugi for joining in. Karibu sana, Natasha. Karibu sana, Susan Gadoni. She loves the discussion. Christine Ariga, she says it's good stuff. And Stella, glad to be here. And Councillor Naomi, she's emphasizing on what I think Willie was saying about we must defend our spouses. I think that was key. And you said you are using the word we must, we must defend our spouses. And Christine says the angel aspect is a thin line. My question is, at what point do you let it be known there's a gap or there is an intervention needed by the in-laws? I think this is for you, Willis, the one who commented on that.
Yes, I would say this. When I say that you should always present your spouse as an angel, it is when number one, there is understanding that I am able to handle the challenges and the issues that arise in our marriage. And I think it is important to mention this. Even when you're having challenges in your marriage, the best people to approach to come in and help you, it is not the in-laws. You'd rather go and look for friends, or go to church and look for your pastor, or now go and look for a professional counselor, because in-laws are not the best to go and start now parading the mistakes that have been made by your spouse. Because what happens, even after reconciliation, there is a certain picture that you have painted into into the minds of these people that even after you have reconciled, there is a way they will start seeing this person. So even when things are working, they will start thinking, hey, maybe our son anafinyiriwa huko na hata hatujui, because there is a certain picture sasa wako nayo. And so I think, because I want to say this, that there is no marriage that is perfect under the sun. All marriages, they go through issues. But now how we handle those issues is what matters. And so I won't encourage people to go seeking for counsel from the in-laws. And let me say this, Jenny, I have seen people, even young people, when they are getting married, when they are looking for best couple, you see someone is picking the sister or a brother. And so when you're having issues and you start running to them, there is a way of this person, even when unaona ni huyu amekosea, unataka kukaa kwa side ya mtu wenyu, unajua.
Exactly.
So the in-laws are not the best people to run. Yeah. Yes.
There's somebody who
even in
asked,
politics, tunasema mtu wetu.
Yes.
somebody who's asked, what if you get married to a mommy's boy?
Yes, that was a question to you, Liz. Eh?
Yes,
Yes.
because when you get married to a mommy's boy, it is a sad situation, because already now you have a problem. What are now the other problems? Now you have a problem. Now you will need, he needs, and one thing is this, is that just before you got married, there were telltale signs that he's a mommy's boy. And what happens is that many people nowadays are not going for premarital counseling because it is come we stay. But we want to encourage people. We are here. We want to do those premarital counseling. You don't do premarital counseling because you're wedding. We need to delink the two, that premarital counseling is not equals to wedding. Premarital counseling is equals to well-being of a good marriage and a good start, because we all need to go to class. We all need a manual sometimes to, we buy a radio and you do not want to read the manual because you want to do it on your own. Please get a manual. It is important. So when you realize those telltale signs, please talk to him. And then if not, ensure, are you able to get somebody else to talk to him so that you can come and it's called demystify this issue that he's a mommy's boy, because it's a character issue already, because it means hajagrow atoke kwa hiyo, hajatoka kwa mother and father, ako ndani pale. Now already, if he's not, he's already defying the word of God. What will happen? There'll be problems. So for me, I would encourage seek counseling, seek counsel. And because there are people who will help somebody demystify the whole issue of mommy's boy. Secondly, it also depends, how is their family dynamic, where he's coming from. Are the parents so entangled that they always are inside the child's life? If they are, you're in for a rough ride, because it means you need to do a lot of wisdom for you to handle the situation.
Wow, thank you for bringing that out very well. And I know Olenjoka's question has been answered by Liz. Thank you, Helen Mlale. She says it's a great discussion. Michael, insightful discussion. Thank you for joining. Wanjiko, thank you. Councillor Naomi says, in-laws never forget, even after a couple solve the issue. And I think she's emphasizing on the issue of taking issues to in-laws. So when you guys resolve, how they resolve, they still have grudges against you and all that. And maybe this it would bring me to this question, and maybe if you have discussed it, you can let me know when I had dropped off, because I've had a say of fighting as a couple, having the same, front, so that we are able to fight all these things in terms of the in-laws. But what about now when conflict comes? And this happens mostly, maybe even as ladies, we confide to maybe our mother-in-laws, by telling them, okay, maybe this is what is happening, thinking now they'll be lenient enough even to talk to their son, something like that. But now, kikiumana, everything turns against you, because here you are fighting one blood. So how do you address that now when conflict comes? Because now it's easier when you're fighting from a common front. But what about now in a situation where there is conflict and you are all disagreeing? Kila mtu, you have taken sides of where your blood is. What about that? Willis, maybe you can tell us.
I want to start by saying that marriage is a team of two. And when I talk of two, I am talking of two mature, let me use this word, two mature human beings. And so marriage should unite spouses, though there will be challenges. And so regardless of the challenges that we are facing or we are going through, I would like to use the example of scissors. As we are talking about being a team, we need to work like a pair of scissors that is cutting whatever attempts to come between the two of us. And so we are a team. You know, a scissors inakata hivi, you see? And so anyone who tries to come between the two of us, because you are a team, we are able to cut them off, and you are saying off. And so when conflict comes, this is between me and my wife. And if we are not able to resolve this conflict, now this is where we bring in the third party. The third party, I will say this again. The third party, this should not be in laws, but you should bring in maybe now best couple. Wale wako sasa kama best couple wako ulichukua sister yako ama ndugu yako. So you should go for the best couple. Maybe you can go to church and tell your pastor, please, we are going through this. And na hii by the way ndio inafaa kuwa ya kwanza, getting to see a counselor. And at this point, as you're talking about these conflicts and everyone is going his and her way, I need to put a question and ask, who are you working with? You have been married for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Is there someone that you are working with? Because if there is someone whom you are working with, these are the people you run to first. And so before even your parents know huku kilikuwa kimeumana, there is that person that you have been working with and you run to their house. I know sometimes you may even feel like mimi staki issue twende tukaiongelele, but because you are feeling mimi mahali nimefika naweza yekelea mtu ngumi, and I don't want to do that, let me run to that place. And I know as I go to run that place, when my spouse receives a call from this man, from this woman, they will show up, they will come and listen, and we'll be able to resolve the issues that we are having. And so the big question is, do you have someone who is working with you? And this is when I bring in the issue of mentorship. Do you have a couple that is mentoring you? Or you have allowed your parents to take the place of mentors, that your parents are your mentors in this marriage. And some of us, we are not lucky. We did not come from families where we saw our parents' marriages working very well. And so they don't have so much that they can help us, because even theirs walishindwa kuifanyia kazi. And so we need to look for people who believe in marriages. We need to look for people whom also their marriage is working. Because again, you don't go start looking for a couple na hata hao wanalaga wakipigana, hata hao wanataka kusaidiwa. You go and look for a couple that has a healthy relationship, that has a healthy marriage, that their marriage is an inspiration even to you as a couple. And so kikiumana, there is somewhere we can run to.
Wow.
Yes.
What I hear Willie saying, and also Liz had emphasized about seeing a counselor. You know, when you have issues to resolve, stop running to in-laws, to relatives. See a counselor, at least a neutral person. And also the big question here, who are you working with? Because that now it determines, are they stable in their relationship? Are they people who can mentor you? Are they people who can work with you? I think that is very, very important. And maybe just to add on to that, there's a comment from Favored Favor saying, the in-laws should only know the names of your spouse, where they come from, and their religion, period. Let the other info be between couples.
I love that.
That is why counselors are here. Thank you. She's also emphasizing on the issue of seeing a counselor. Thank you, Phyllis Wakanyi. She says, Liz Uimbia, spot on. Thank you for that. So I know I'll still have a few of your minutes just to bring in this, because I know it's a topic that is close to my heart, where I've had many people who I work with, and they've had a challenge around this area when it comes to separation or divorce. Yeah. And many, you'll hear many people talk of my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, they're the ones who did what, who came between me and my wife or my husband, and they're the ones who broke my marriage. So we've had this cry, and this is why now you get a lot of trauma, when you hear the word in-law, because many have been involved in breakup of their how do I call them? Their sons or daughters' marriages. And even to a point, another comment, Willis, and even Liz, you'll agree with me, even bringing another spouse, or suggesting another spouse who is better than you. So I don't know, what can you comment about that? Because this is where now we have many in-laws, and especially, and this you should now also tell me, because the name that is mentioned a lot is about mother-in-law and not father-in-law. So why are mother-in-laws so much involved in this? What is about them and not father-in-laws,
One thing I said at the beginning is that character, because you're marrying a person, and there are people who are generally brought up well and have good character. Now, I said at the beginning, if you're unfortunate, you get married to a family that the parents do not have good characters, and this is because we have them, they are not very nice. It means that there's a lot of work to be done. But the one thing I keep saying, you cannot say your marriage ended because of your in-laws. The reason why those marriages ended because of your in-laws, it's because your spouse allowed the in-laws to come and take authority over their marriage. And that is where now you sit down and he needs to take responsibility. And then you as the spouse, as the wife, what did you do about it? Did you also allow that authority to be taken over? And what wisdom did you use? Because at the end of the day, if we are at work and we have a conflict or we have an issue, we are able to maneuver around it and get what? A solution. So when you're in your marriage, why is it that you're not able to maneuver around it so that you can get a solution? It's because you have expectations, and those expectations are unspoken. You imagine that, no, my spouse, he should not listen to his mother. He should not do this because of the sister. He should not do this because of the father. But at the end of the day, have you sat down and literally discussed it? Because if you start by discussing it, because you will see it right from day one. And I loved what another day you posted, Jenny, and said, red flags never turn green. But we keep hoping they will turn green, but they never do. So when you see those signs there, discuss it, bring it out in the open. And that is where now you have it's a dicey conversation. And a dicey conversation, it means you are willing to listen without judgment. And then you're willing to love that person unconditionally. And loving that person unconditionally is when they are defending their mother, when you know they should not be defending their mother. When you're now discussing, both of you, that you should lovingly tell them, no, my dear, let us look at this thing this way. Can you imagine your own daughter, this happening? You're able to have that discussion. Some spouses will never listen, but those who are able to listen, it is important to have that discussion. But don't have it when you're already angry and you are mad, because I keep saying when you do that, it's like, if you have visitors and you put all the dirty utensils in a sink, will you be able to clean them? You can't. So that is what we do. When tumekasirika ndio utamkumbusha hata nani alifanya ile mwaka ingine, and this. Now, what will you solve? Nothing, because you can't wash those utensils. So the best thing is when you're now probably in a good mood, talk about those things so that those things are not the ones that will make you your marriage to end.
React to that as you bring in your input, Willie.
Who married who? That would be the question. Did your wife was your wife married by your mother? Or you're the one who married? I mean, these are the kind of, Jenny, it is funny when we are very careful, when you want to buy a portion of land somewhere in but the matters of love, sometimes we take it so casually that we don't take time to understand who is this person? Where is she coming from? Where is he coming from? And I think this is where we need to go back and start digging deeper, even to the background of this person who is coming into your life. And then after you know the kind of family she or he is coming from, you ask yourself, am I ready to cope with such behaviors? Yeah, like Liz is talking about the parents having a bad character. You realize these parents, from where this girl is coming from, Nuachawi, am I ready to be associated with such kind of people? But you find sometimes we take matters of love so casually. We just think that everything is lovey-dovey. But there are times after we get into marriage, the first year we are in honeymoon, we are enjoying. You don't see anything good. I mean, anything bad from your spouse. Wait until 2 years, 3 years down the line. When you are coming together, love, you were saying love is blind. You could not see anything wrong. But marriage starts opening up your eyes and you start seeing things. And so I think it is important, as you talk about this issue, even to do some due diligence when it comes to the matters of relationship. I need to know, where is this girl coming from? How was she raised up? How are the parents? How are the siblings? Then I am able to ask myself, me as really, am I able to cope with such a family? If I am not able, I run for my life. I just say, they will say, don't run, Murife, but I will run for my life. I mean, because after this, I mean, yes.
I hear you.
No, there's a very interesting question, Jenny.
Yes.
That has been asked by Favored Favor. And she's saying, when the man is his mother's breadwinner, the wife and the mother compete for one breadwinner. How does one deal with this? Is this character or poverty? Now, I want to just read something that I was, when you told me about this, a very interesting verse, because it is on, it's 1 Timothy 5:18. When it says, anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially their own households, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Now, here is where we said that your parents become number 2 the moment you get married. And there is no need for you to start competing with your mother, your mother-in-law. It is absolutely wrong. And in fact, the mother-in-law is actually doing wrong, because now there is what Willie read in verse 4, where he was saying, do not provoke your children, because now there she is not being very fair. Yes, he is the breadwinner, but he needs to realize his first responsibility, according to the word of God, is that his own household, he first provides for his own household, then he can provide for his other relatives. It is important to take care of our relatives. It's important to take care of our parents, but at the same time, it should not be at the expense of your own household, because there are many who do that. Alafu wewe kijana ama wewe dem unapatia your parent money behind the scenes. What you're doing, you're breaking your marriage slowly by slowly and breaking her, because ni kama unaiba from your bank to give to your parents. That is not even a blessing.
Wow. It's so deep, Liz, and I love the way you have brought it up, even backing it up with a verse. So, and it's so clear. And there's another question I would want, and then maybe Willis to address this. I can see, Liz, you had tried responding just on the chat, but for Willis, maybe from a man's perspective, when somebody's asking and is a man, ladies sometimes compare the husband to their father, and that can create an issue. Maybe a quick comment on that as we wrap up.
Yes, thank you so much. And maybe to back up what Liz was talking about, Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance to their children's children. So a good man, as a good man, you should leave an inheritance to your children's children. And so you should not be a bother to your children, but you should be the person who is leaving an inheritance to them. And so it is a challenge to men out there. And back to that question, this is something that is breaking many men out there, because the moment my spouse starts comparing me to the father, I mean, at first it's like you are seeing me as I am good for nothing, because there is no way you can compare. Yes, there is no way you can compare a man with another man. Now, leave alone your father. You should not even compare your man with your friend's husband. It is demoralizing. It is wrong. I mean, no woman should do that. Wanaume wa aina gani? Wewe kazi yako tu kuhiolia trousers here because nani alinunuliwa gari na mimi bado. Never. It is wrong. If you thought your father was good than me, then how comes he didn't marry? So don't compare your husband with another man.
But let me tell you,
not
Willie,
even with your, yeah.
But you know, really, what happens? Every daughter, her father is their hero.
Yes.
Every daughter, their father is their hero. So, and every child, most of the time, your parents are your heroes. Yeah. So what happens is that you find him like the person who is the world. But you see, we grow.
Yes.
And I said there at the beginning, when I was a child, I did things like a child.
I talk like a child.
Adult. Yes. Now I'm an adult. I need to realize, yes, dad was good. But I don't know. Yes. I don't know dad as a spouse, because maybe my mother thinks, oh, your mother, this man.
Yes.
Is from a
now, Liz, so no. And I totally agree with that. And so you can look up to your father as a good role model.
Yes.
But you should not compare me with him.
No.
He is your father, not your husband. And he is your mother's husband.
Yes. And you do not have a relationship with him as a husband. You have a relationship with him as a father. Maybe your wife, maybe your mother is thinking, this man, problem.
Yes.
You know, when you think, hey, that is an angel. So it is just the same way when we defend fervently our brothers and our sisters, yet we have no relationship with them as a spouse. But the spouse knows them as a spouse. You know your brother and sister as a brother, as a sister. You do not have a relationship with them as a spouse. So it is very critical that we allow sometimes to see our relatives, who they are on the other side. And that's why we come to empathize. That's even when I am feeling my brother is being anateswa na bibi yake, I need to go to the other end, niulize, huyu bibi.
Yes.
Pengine ameteswa kuliko venye ametesa bwana yangu. I mean, brother yangu. So it is important to empathize, because honestly speaking, like I really felt very sad. Recently there was a video going around because of this case of Paul, the guy who
the
died.
lawyer, yes, I saw
the lawyer, and the mother is so pained, and if you listen to her, she's really blaming the daughter-in-law. Honestly, I don't know the story, I don't know the back, but you can see that is a very strained relationship between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. And even, and you know what it does to the man? The man loves the mother totally, because there's no man who doesn't love the mother. And at the same time, he loves his wife. And to him, can you imagine the pain of trying to balance the two? So as mothers, can we love our children but allow them to be grown-ups?
Yes,
because I shouldn't blame my son. I shouldn't blame the wife of my son because of his bad habits. I need to call a spade a spade. So, because he can be a bad character, and you as a mother, you tried your best. Now to say, me, I know my son cannot do. You have no clue.
Yes,
what we're able to do.
You have no clue. So don't defend your son so much, or don't defend your daughters too much. Empathize and see the other side. Try as much as it is hard. See the other side.
Thank you for that. I'm telling you, this topic icona my emotions, you know. I think I should call you again, the two of you. Mukona nini towards that topic, you know. We need to do it again because I can see our time is gone. So I'll as we wrap up, I'll be inviting you to just to give your parting shots as far as that is concerned. And then as you say your parting shot, there's just one comment I would want you to say, then you say your parting shot, so that now in the next 5 minutes we can, I will be done, yeah? Now, on the other side, we have really good in-laws. Now, I am still on now divorce and separation. And these are actual things that are happening, that their son they have divorced you, but your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, they tell you, sisi ni wewe tunajua, we know you. Acha, let him go marry, but we will keep you. And they keep you and they give you a house, you know, and they recognize you as their daughter-in-law. So what can you comment about that? You comment, then give your parting shot. Is it in order? Can you really, after your husband has rejected you, can your in-laws keep you? Tell us.
The first thing I would say, why you're cultivating that relationship. There's something you're gaining. You never are in a relationship unless there's something you're gaining. Human beings are selfish, as in we love ourselves more. So I will be in a relationship with somebody because I'm gaining something. There's a need that is being met. So you who has divorced the lady and they still tell you they recognize you, it means you're already cultivating a relationship with them. So umetoka lakini hujatoka. So for me, I would blame the lady squarely, because one, she is cultivating a relationship. That relationship she's cultivating, itazaa matunda. But if she chooses the only relationship in this family is my children and my ex-in-laws, then she will focus on that. And they will not have time for you to negotiate and tell you they are building for you a house. How? You are not there. Ulienda. Watoto wao ni wao. That's my parting shot. My parting shot is this. In-laws are lovely people. I one day will be an in-law. I'm already an in-law. And we always look at an in-law from Niwale, COCC. But let us realize that we need to empathize and be good in-laws so that we can also get good in-laws where we go. So, and that is why a woman should never make noise and say, huku ni kwangu, hata wewe ulikuja. So yeah, so always usifikiri hata wewe ulikuja, so hata wewe unaweza enda. So always be kind. If you're a mother-in-law, be kind. And especially as mothers who have sons, let us be kind. And those mothers who have daughters, let your daughters live. Let them, encourage them to love their husbands, obey their husbands, and submit to their husbands, because that's the right thing. If your marriage didn't work, encourage them that theirs can work. Thank you very much.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much for that. Really, you'll take it up, your comment on that, then your parting shot as well.
I think I would start by saying that no one don't want to be somewhere that he or she is loved. And I think this is where I'll repeat what I had said when we began, that we need to have some boundaries. That I have left this family, and the reason why I came to know you people, it is because of your son. So now that we have gone separate ways, I don't think there's no way I cannot be talking to your son, but I want to talk to the parents. I think for me that does not add up, because this is the person who made me to come into this family and even to know you. So I think that's where we need to apply some wisdom. And my parting shots, I want to start by speaking maybe to some people who are not married and they are watching this broadcast. And I want to start, as I speak to them, I want to say this. There's something I've written in my book, Couplesville, in chapter 2, where I'm talking about what makes marriage a marriage. And there's something I've said, that don't get married if you don't know yourself. So if you don't know yourself, please take time, don't get married. Because when you get married and yet you don't know yourself, then this person who is coming into your life, and maybe for them, they know themselves, you are going to mess them up. And right there will be challenges. And so before you know yourself, and when you're talking about knowing yourself, you're talking about, do you know what is your purpose? Do you have goals in this life? Do you have a vision as a person? If you're not able to answer all these questions about purpose, goal, vision, mission, please don't be in a hurry to get married. There is nowhere watu wanaitishwa wenye wameoana. So take your time and study yourself. And then when you are able to know yourself, you can go ahead and get married. To the married, I speak to you. We were talking about the issue of in-laws. And I want to end by saying it is your responsibility not to allow your family to disrespect your spouse or to put down your spouse. It is your responsibility. It is not your siblings' responsibility. It is not your parents' responsibility. It is your own responsibility to fight for your spouse, no matter what comes your way, period.
Wow, wow, that's very, very deep. And I want really to appreciate for the parting shot, and even for our audience. I know they have really participated, and Councillor Naomi is saying emotions are running high. I hope there'll be part 2, because I don't think we can conclude today. So just know I'll be calling you again so that we explore this more. And also, Favor, I've seen your comment, but I have also realized that mother-in-laws who know their sons wako na kashida, they tend to love daughters-in-law. Ndio kijana yao asiachwe.
Yes.
They tend to cover up their son's character. Yeah, huyo amelenga ndipo, si ndio?
Kabisa.
Ndio. Then Michael says, as a man, I feel emasculated when compared. Yeah, I think, Willie, you can relate to that. It's from a man, yeah? Wow, yes. I think this is a very, very heated up topic. I love it. I love the audience, the way they have engaged. I love our guests, you know, the way they've been able to bring it out. So I'm really, really glad. Maybe one more thing you can do for me, because I know our audience, they would want to connect with you. Maybe you can mention in a hurry. I know, Liz, there's something you do. Maybe you can just mention where they can connect with you and maybe get to learn and benefit from what you do. If you can share it on the chat, you can drop it there. It'll be a link or a website so that they'll be able to see, and Willie's as well, so that they be aware of what you do each and every Friday. Wakwe watch, and also they can buy your book, you know, for those people who are looking forward to getting married. I'm hoping for the married, not for those who are not married. You can also clarify on that.
Yeah.
Yes, go, Willie.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Jenny. And I must say that I'm glad that I was here and having that healthy conversation. And actually, after this, we are continuing with this conversation exactly at 9:45 p.m. And we are asking a question, can marriage be saved? And so you need to go to YouTube and check Willie Kinyash, Dr. Love, and we'll be having that conversation talking about whether marriages can be saved. And also you can follow me on Facebook, can go to Facebook and check out Willie Kinyash, Couples Will. Willie Kinyash is W-I-L-L-I-E. Kinyash is K-I-N-Y-A-S-H _ Couples Will. You'll be able to find me there. Instagram, Willie Kinyash, TikTok, Willie Kinyash, Dr. Love, and we'll be able to connect. And thank you so much. So kindly, after this 9:45, you can join me on YouTube, Willie Kinyash, Dr. Love, and we continue with this conversation. Thank you so much.
Tukimbieni pale YouTube, tukutane naye Willie Kinyash the other side. Liz.
Okay, you can reach me on my social media sites. There's Liz Oimbia, but there's also my website and my social media, which is lifeconnect.or.ke. All of them, even Instagram is lifeconnect.or.ke. We can engage. I have a program that I run called Be Unstoppable. It's a very good program for somebody to understand themselves, to be able to live your best life and really connect with the best version of yourself. Nobody is able to say that I know myself fully, because we keep learning and we keep changing and we keep growing. So it is very good. That program, link me, connect with me. You will find it on Life Connect. And also a program that I'm piloting for couples, how to ignite and tap to your sexual creative energy, so that you can be the best of yourself. You know, we are created, and creativity comes from where? Have a lovely night. Thank you, Jenny.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, Liz and Willie. And also for under SADREF, there are some programs that are coming up, and that is Healing Wounded Hearts. You can sign up in case you know somebody who can benefit from that, dealing with the unsolved issue and childhood trauma. Kindly, you can refer them. And also we have the program Reality Check coming up in the month of October. And also on a monthly basis, we normally have roundtable clinic where we just meet and just get to check on our emotions, on our thoughts and our behavior, you know, as we walk along that journey together. So check our website for more updates and also programs. So for me, my parting shot is no one should, and I mean no one should be allowed to come in between two people who are in love, unless they are coming to walk alongside you, but not in between you. I was your host, Jenny Wachira. Have a very lovely, lovely evening, and see you next month, the last week of October, for another Heated Up show. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.